I was on a panel session recently at a networking and education event for coaches, and I was asked a question that I'm going to answer for you here. And the question was, what advice would you give to your younger self just starting out as a coach? Great question. I definitely have advice for my younger self. I have 3 pieces of advice that I'll share in this video. This is an important question because we often learn things after the fact that we wish we knew at the time. Well, we live and learn, right? What I'm hoping is that through my living and learning, it will accelerate your success as a new or aspiring executive coach. So let's go back to 2008, 2009, when I was just getting started as a business coach. What advice would I give to myself? 1, get trained, certified, and credentialed as a coach sooner. I went for years before going down that path. It was actually 2014 when I went through the Center for Executive Coaching's program and became certified as an executive coach. And then it was almost 2 years later before I became credentialed as a coach by the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. I was credentialed as a PCC, Professional Certified Coach. Why would I give myself that advice? Because when you get trained and certified and credentialed, it deepens your coaching skills. It makes you a better coach, and it makes you more marketable. Sure, there are lots of people out there that don't understand the world of credentialing in coaching, but there are a lot of people who do. And being able to answer to their needs, which is a baseline credential and recognized training program so that they would feel more comfortable hiring you. What I did was basically tie one hand behind my back and cut out a part of the market because I chose not to get trained and certified and credentialed until years into the process. So that's advice number 1. Advice number 2, be more consistent. Wow. Oh, if only I had followed this advice in the early days. I was consistent in one regard, and that was networking. I was relentless about networking. I joined 7 different organizations, including 4 chambers of commerce, the board of a nonprofit, a service organization, and a referral club. And I was out networking several times a week consistently. So there I was doing something right, and that was helping my business. What I wasn't doing consistently was marketing my business. I certainly did market my business. I have a sales and marketing background. So it's not as if I did nothing, but a lot of it was erratic and on occasion. Now I'm much more systematic about marketing my services. I put videos on YouTube almost every single week, post through my company page on LinkedIn every single week. I send out newsletters almost every single month. I did say almost, working on that. We all have room to improve, right? But there are these things that I do that are consistent now that I never did before on a consistent basis. What about you? Are you marketing your services consistently if you're already operating as an executive coach? How can you be even more consistent? How can you raise the quality of what you're doing consistently as well? Because that's the next level. Another thing that I do consistently now that I didn't do before was update my website. I put new content on my website almost every week. And I have 2 websites, as you know. I have Bay Area Executive Coach Training for new and aspiring executive coaches, and I have Bay Area Executive Coach for coaching clients who are looking for an executive coach, team developer, etc. So be consistent. That's advice number 2 that I would give my younger self as a coach. What about number 3? What would I do differently as a newer coach that would help my business to succeed faster? This one may surprise you or not at all. You might have thought this was going to be the first piece of advice that I would have given. Before I say it, what do you think it is? Ask yourself, what should a newer coach be more comfortable doing consistently? Not marketing. I already talked about that. What else should a newer coach get comfortable doing consistently? Raise your prices. You should raise your prices consistently. Again, in the early days, I was not that certain or confident. I'd received only a little training. I was not certified. I was not credentialed. I was kind of figuring it out along the way. And that affected my attitude towards my pricing. So if I follow my first piece of advice, then I would probably more naturally follow my third piece of advice. And that is to raise your prices consistently. Think of it kind of like a landlord. Landlords tend to raise their rents every year, unless perhaps it's a rocky economy. But most years, they will raise their rents consistently so that the tenants just come to expect it. They don't leave. In most cases, they just accept the increase because they appreciate living where they live. Same with your coaching clients. If they appreciate the services you are giving them, unless your price increase is something just outrageous, they're likely to just accept it because they appreciate the service you're giving. And in most coaching scenarios, the value of our services far outweigh the cost of our services. So you always have that margin, that room to increase, increase, increase. As you get closer to the value you're providing, well, then you should provide greater value. Always keep a significant margin between the value that you're providing and the cost that they are paying. That way, you can feel comfortable and confident that you can consistently raise your prices each and every year. So if you're one of my clients watching this, well, you know it's coming in January, right? Because I'd be hypocritical if I didn't follow my own advice. So those are the three pieces of advice that I would give my younger coaching self. I hope by watching this video, you've started to think about maybe following this advice right now and not waiting years to do so. You can learn from my experience. Now, if you really want to learn from my experience and my knowledge about coaching developed after many, many years in practice, consider enrolling in the Center for Executive Coaching. The videos on this channel are absolutely meant to help you. As you know, I educate here and I give practical instruction here that you can apply. And I will always do that. But you could go so much further with me. By enrolling in the Center for Executive Coaching, you can attend online classes that I teach most weeks of the year. You could really invest and come to an in-person seminar with me for 3.5 days. I lead those a few times a year. And you could also join one of my mentor coaching cohorts. I lead mentor coaching programs about 4 times a year. And that will really deepen your skills as a coach if you're already a practicing coach. So there are many ways to learn with me at a much deeper level. Visit my website, BAECexecutivecoachtraining.com, and explore the enrollment options and also tap into other resources that are there to help you. Also follow my LinkedIn company page, which is there to help you. As you know, I post consistently each and every week on that page, resources to help you as a coach. If you have questions about coaching, email me at michael@BAECexecutivecoach.com, and I may answer your question in a future video, which means you should subscribe to this channel so you don't miss that future video. All right, thank you very much.